We're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There's a rule. There's a tradition that says I have to kiss this girl on the lips.
This is Christmas.
Come to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
When Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
Thomas is getting back on his audio editing.
Anyways. So that's all my favorite Christmas movies. Super cut together. So, yeah.
What is your favorite
I
Christmas
didn't,
movie?
I didn't hear Home Alone. You know that. You know where he's like, I give you a count 3, 2.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be in there.
That was actually because I made a list and then I did try to work that one in, but
Did
it's
you
just
check it twice?
Beautiful.
I did try, but it was a little too long in the cadence of it. I just couldn't quite fit it in because I needed like kind of quick blips sort of thing. I sort of thought about it. So, but anyways, yeah. And one question we've been asking people is, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Gotta say the Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Nice.
Home Alone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good one for sure.
Excellent.
It's starting to get on TV. It's on repeat now on most of the channels, but it's must watch. Doesn't get old.
Syndication.
Very true. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's Macaulay Culkin doing these days?
He was on Joe Rogan in the last year-ish.
Really?
Did anyone listen to that?
No.
He's had a pretty interesting life. His whole life has been kind of a whirlwind.
But he's actually a pretty normal dude, at least on there, and how he presents himself. Like if you listen to the episode, he's a pretty interesting guy. He kind of just does whatever. I think he sort of has a I don't know what his job is. He's in a band with some semi-famous people or something like that. But yeah,
does he have enough royalties coming in from Home Alone that he doesn't have to do anything
anymore?
He
must.
There has to be something.
I'm pretty sure he has a pretty chill life, but still sort of works. But probably just.
How old do you think he is?
He's 40.
Yeah, I just read that. That's crazy that he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
That's nuts.
So those movies would have came out in the
Those
late
movies
80s?
are
Late 80s, right?
Yeah,
That's where Spencer comes in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
The first Home Alone's from 1990. Home Alone 2 is 1992.
There you go. Before we were even.
So before we were
was
born,
here.
You were here.
He was here.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah, we came along I guess a year later.
Yeah.
After the second one.
Yeah. Good answer. No, that's a good movie. I don't know. I like it. I gotta rewatch that one. I don't remember the last time I watched Home Alone.
2 or 1?
The first
The
one.
first one.
First.
I don't think I've maybe watched the second one from start to finish one time ever. It was one of those ones where the sequel wasn't quite as good, right?
Yeah.
So, but,
Is that the one that Donald Trump makes
yes,
a cameo?
because it's in New York.
Okay.
And
He's
they
up the elevator
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't it go to 3 or 4 and they change up the kid and all that?
I believe
Jazz.
that there was a third one that maybe Macaulay Culkin wasn't in, or maybe it was the fourth one or something. They got really weird, direct to VHS sort of thing, right?
Do you think those other movies they should just reboot it and bring it back to 2019, 2020?
It probably would do well.
That would be a good
Where
idea.
Macaulay Culkin is the dad now.
Yeah, didn't learn.
Yeah.
But
Still leaves his kid
So
out.
what do you think that would sell?
Probably.
But you see the memes out there where they're kind of if Home Alone happened today, there's cell phones, so it would be fixed in 2 seconds.
Kevin, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Really?
fine. Oh, okay. Movie over.
They use Alexa to do some of those.
Yeah, the Michael Jordan dancing,
Yeah.
the Michael Jordan
Yeah.
cardboard cutout or whatever. So
Drops a tar.
yeah. Okay. So and then, do you have any Christmas traditions, set family ones or whatever? We've
The
kinda asked
general
people about that.
the family
Yeah?
dinners.
Okay.
I think everyone has those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys more Christmas Eve centric or Christmas Day centric?
Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Good stuff. Nice.
So are you up at 5:30 in the morning on Boxing Day and in line or
In line
No,
for,
absolutely not.
No.
No. Hitting
There has
Amazon
been a time
refresh.
before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Did that in the past, but
I don't
No,
know.
absolutely not.
These days with the internet, I don't know.
I don't get the rush. I don't
internets.
understand why people would just be in lines all day at the mall. I don't get that.
And Black Friday also throws this Boxing Day off too.
Yeah, that's true.
now that it's a kind of a thing in Canada, right?
I'd say it's almost I'd say
Well,
Black
they-
Friday's probably a lot bigger than Boxing Day is here.
now.
They
Yeah.
are,
Exciting.
and they
Now,
are
yeah.
literally a month apart. So
Yeah,
it
like
does,
the deals on
do you
Amazon
really
were insane
need?
this year.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Have you seen that video or that where it's Best Buy and it's Canadian Black Friday? The doors open and people just slowly walk in. It's like, oh, you first. Oh,
Yeah,
you first.
I did see that.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I did
yeah.
see that.
And then you see like the
Yeah.
American ones, and like
Just like
there's
just
like two
right
people
in.
fighting over a TV.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
The Canadian one is people politely standing in line
But
waiting to
like,
pay, right?
No,
Like,
but like no, I insist.
They're trying to
go
get through the
ahead.
front door. They're like, you, no, you, no, you.
no, you. The old,
So polite.
like, there's like a Mexican standoff in like cowboy movies and stuff with guns, but Canadian standoff is two guys, like a double door, and both guys holding the door waiting for the other one to go.
You know what a Canadian standoff is? It was when you both arrive at a fucking stop sign at the
Oh,
same time.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Four-way stops here are so hard to do because everyone's just like, okay, no, like you go,
You
like
go,
you go,
you
like
go.
the
They're
laws
trying
are,
to be
the-
nice, and
they
I'm like,
are.
legally, you go. You
And
have
then
the
like,
right away.
and then
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then like, the two people go, and then they stop, and then they look, and then they stop, and they're like, someone go.
It's so bad.
So nuts.
Yeah, I had it yesterday actually, or day before. I was coming down. I'm turning left, but I'm inching out already because the guy's turning right from that 3-lane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he sees me. He stops dead in his. He's like, "Oh, you go." I'm like, "No, go. There's oncoming traffic. I'm already inching out." He's like, "No, I'm like, no. You have the right of way. Just make your. You're not supposed to stop in the middle of the turn."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah, some people are too polite.
too polite.
I actually saw something wild the other day. So there was a car in the, like in the intersection. They were like, I'm gonna go left on like a advanced green, and the light turned, and he backed up, like to go back. He like backed up. He didn't go through the light like a normal person. He like backed up to the turning lane.
Oh, God.
Like, do you know what I mean? I was
No.
like, dude, you have to go. Like, you can't back up. Like I'm here now. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not following the story.
So
Like
the green, the advanced green
Was on. Yeah.
was on.
Yeah. And like he went, and then the light turned yellow, and then he like saw it, and he
Oh
backed up.
no!
Oh, like,
So he
wait.
didn't want to beat the light.
He didn't want to beat the light because he thought he would get like a ticket, and then I'm there. I'm like, dude, like you can't, like you have to go. Like
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
back up. There's
This car behind you.
it's right
Yeah,
behind me.
yeah.
So I was like, what?
I was driving down White and like going home, and this one guy was going, and it was kind of like an evening or whatever. So I guess he was trying to go to a restaurant or bar or wherever. But so he stops in front of me because he sees a spot to parallel park and like slams on the brakes and just throws it in reverse and starts backing up to parallel park in this stall. But there wasn't enough room between like me, like I was like half over the stall. Not that I was trying to take it, but he just didn't have the room, and he just started going. I'm laying on the horn, and he wouldn't like stop, so I had to back up. I'm like, what the hell? But it's just the most aggressive takeover of the.
Yeah.
So if it was one of those cars that parallel park themselves. That stop. Does it know that you're behind, and it's like, hey, there's a car
I mean,
there?
I
would
assume they
assume
must
so.
have
Yeah.
a decent bit of
Sensor.
detector
Yeah.
technology.
Look that up on the
Are those-
Tesla.
Are those vehicles available here? The self-parking ones
I think so. I thought Ford
in
Escape.
Canada?
I thought
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
Ford,
you know,
yeah. There's
yeah.
advertisements for Ford
Yeah.
Escape. Yeah, I mean Teslas can do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Self park. I've seen those videos where the Tesla's by itself in the parking lot. It's like a busy parking lot. There's no one in the car. It's trying to find where parking itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't
I don't know
seen
how
that.
far
That's
that
funny.
goes, but
Have
Hey-
you seen? How do cars have? How cars have like all-around cameras now,
yeah.
Yeah.
but it kind of
360.
shows like a little. Yeah, I don't.
They have
But
I
it-
don't have one of those.
Yeah, but it's
what?
just
Oh, like
interesting.
above?
Yeah,
And then
but
they have
it,
the
it
perspective
somehow
around?
creates a bird's eye view, and I just don't get how the apertures
may- I
and
don't
stuff
know.
work.
it might just
for
go
that.
off like a like
It's
a
probably
it's a
positionally.
position or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe like
yeah.
based on the GPS, it can like find where it is. Like
No,
in
it's
space.
I don't know. It's
That
weird.
would be
no,
pretty
no,
out
it's,
there.
actually,
no,
that's pretty,
no,
like,
no.
that's
That would be
It's a
pretty
camera.
next
It's a
level,
camera
yeah.
for sure.
Food for thought. I was listening to another podcast and talking about what's coming up in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And kids that are born these days, like my daughter was just born a few months
Yeah.
ago, will never.
Congrats
will-
again.
won't-
Yeah,
Wait,
congratulations.
maybe
Yeah,
formally say.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, yeah.
I was gonna bring her. I was like, maybe I should bring her.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Just roll
Jump
around.
on the podcast. But
First
they
pod
don't
appearance.
have to. They don't have to learn how to drive. They're not gonna be driving.
Yeah.
Because by that time, in maybe
Yeah.
18 years, whatever that is, 16, 18 years, be all autonomous cars.
Maybe.
Could
Yeah.
you imagine like if you didn't have to drive to work, like you could just like be in a
Sleep.
car and it would just
But-
get you to work.
It's
you
not
im-
far off. They
Yeah.
already have that now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
That's so
20
wild to
years,
think
it's gonna
about.
be
Yeah.
it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My-
Interesting.
Or
My
yeah.
flying
question-
cars.
Yeah, my question is the adoption, because I mean, there's so many cars on the road that are not self-driving
And
right now.
human error is the cause of accident. So
yeah,
would a self-driving cars would only work really well if everyone did them, right? More or
I
less.
would assume so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where would it catch on the fastest, do you guys think? Like self-driving cars?
I would say, well, I think weather is weather depending,
Yeah.
because a big
Totally.
part of it is reading road lanes,
California,
right? So
like-
Yeah.
California.
Here, I was always thinking about that too.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
do you see a huge pothole that just happened, like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
We've all ran through one of those,
Yeah,
right?
Totally,
Yeah.
yeah. Or lanes of traffic.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You know, I heard something the other day where it was saying eventually there will be no one who knew a time before the internet, and someone will be the last person to remember
Yeah.
before the internet.
That's
You know what I
wild
mean?
to think
Right?
about, yeah.
So,
eventually.
like,
yeah.
even we technically can, right, as kids, or it
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
Yeah.
but we were, all pretty young, right? So,
Yeah.
and like our grandparents
Do
obviously
you guys have
remember,
cassette players?
But, oh
Yes.
You
Yep.
sure?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Cassettes.
guess that was kind of
Yep.
like, yeah.
We had cassette players. We had Windows 95.
We had the Walkman. Like,
Ooh,
that was
Windows
kind of a
Walkman.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the,
Yeah.
the Walkman, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that having to change CDs to listen to one specific
And
song.
hopefully
and,
it doesn't scratch or
Oh,
skip,
that
right?
was
We
the
were just talking
worst.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
worst.
and then sometimes you're like, the CD changer in your car would like eat a CD or kind of like start to let it out, and you'd grab it, and then it would like pull it back, and you're like, no.
We just talked about this the
Give it
other
back.
day.
Oh really?
Or like video game cartridges where you have to like pull them out and
Oh,
blow
yeah.
on them.
Oh,
Hopefully,
yes.
hopefully that's
come on,
that's
come on,
actually
come
the
on.
cause of whatever it's.
Yeah.
But
N64.
yeah,
Yeah. Just pray it
So-
works when you flip the switch.
but it is crazy. You talk
Yeah.
to like young kids and my niece and nephews, like CD. What's a CD?
Yeah,
That's
they don't have
wild.
to know
Wow.
or
those things, right?
they don't know why the phone icon on your phone is shaped the way it is, because it's still shaped like a receiver, right? So
I've never thought about that.
yeah.
Actually,
That's true.
yeah, that, whoa.
When you
Food for thought
someone
there,
said
yeah.
that to me like years ago, I'm like, damn,
People
that
still
is
make phone calls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
What?
Yeah. That's so wild.
not just passive
Or kids
aggressive
like
text
walking into
messages.
houses and they have the Google Home Assistant or Alexa. They just go in and they're asking Google to do things.
Yeah.
And then they walk in one like someone doesn't have it. They think they can just talk. They turn on
Just
the
talk
lights.
to the
why,
house.
why are the lights not turning on?
Yeah.
What? Mm.
Are the lights broke? Is your
Yeah.
Alexa broken?
Hey Alexa, how many girls can I get in the Tesla?
Where's that from?
It's actually a song.
Who is that?
Yeah, what song is that?
I'll look it up for you
Oh,
after.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
But don't Google Homes and stuff only respond to your voice? Like you have to introduce yourself to it or whatever.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
'Cause
you
I-
do.
But when
'cause-
they're kids, they don't know that, right?
Yeah,
They just
they
think
just-
that's the way it is.
The world is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's really interesting, actually, kind of growing up with that, where you just kind of assume it's normal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The new normal is gonna be
Crazy.
crazy now, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I always make jokes about, like, when I'm showing homes, because a lot of homes still, like, in kitchens will have a telephone table. And now it just
Like
becomes
what?
your, like, crap drawer. I'm like,
Yeah.
but I'm always like,
Ah.
the table formerly known as the telephone table.
Yeah,
Kind
where
of
you
like
have-
the artist formerly
This is your
known.
crap drawer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
The
yeah.
artist formerly known as Prince, right?
Has the,
like,
has the little drawer and
yeah,
the chair.
and it's
yeah.
it's about yay much lower than the rest of the counter
Yeah,
for
it's a
whatever.
cubby. Yeah, I know
do
exactly.
any of
Yeah.
your guys' parents like still have a landline?
Yes.
No.
My mom does. It's,
I don't know
find
why.
that so
My
weird.
mom
I don't know
does.
why.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Like they don't
My
ever use
parents
it.
don't.
They just have it.
I think my grandma still has a landline, but we were thinking about getting rid of it for her because she does a cell phone, right?
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
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 I was
Have you
like-
guys ever used a rotary phone in your life?
I actually used one, like a couple months ago.
Really?
A couple months ago.
My grandma
were
has
you?
one.
Oh.
and
And
I'm
it's
like,
still plugged in, like
and it
that's the
still
phone they
works.
use?
And like, I actually called my phone with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Wow.
is crazy. Like, I'm
Yeah,
calling like
wow.
a Samsung
Amazing.
off a rotary phone. So
I've never.
wild.
I feel like that's a TikTok video that could blow up.
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
Oh, I should
you
have
should do
TikTok.
that.
I should have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
famous.
Spencer. Oh, God. After all we've talked about TikTok on here.
Yeah. I can say I have it not.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
Like ever.
we
Hey?
we had this one phone in my parents' basement that was a normal landline, but it looked like a rotary phone, but you didn't have to spin the buttons, you just press the buttons.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like 4 out of 10 of the way there, sort of thing.
Is this episode one of those episodes where we just talk about how old we are? Is that
That should be. a
We're
good one.
going that route.
We're
really.
going that
So,
route. Like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
that-
Have you
yeah.
ever used a payphone? I think
I don't think so.
I think I've used once.
I've
once.
never used a payphone.
Can you even? Is there? Do
Do they still make the phone book
payphones
anymore?
still
I've
out
seen
there?
I've seen a payphone.
Okay.
Have
I
you?
think West End might still have one
Really?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have them in like the entrances. But like, do they make the phone book still?
I don't know.
I think
I think so. Maybe.
I
I don't
we
know.
talked
do.
about that.
Don't
on,
you have to
a-
like buy it or order it or something like that?
Yeah,
these
I don't
days,
know.
right? So yeah.
It is
wild.
much thinner than it used to.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was like so thick. It was like the Sears catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, actually, so speaking of being old and stuff, so a good question someone asked us yesterday on this was, what was the one, and N64 made me think of this, because what was the one Christmas present you never got? And mine was N64, because we weren't allowed to have consoles when we were really, really little, me and my siblings. So was there ever
That's
like
too
a
bad
Christmas
for you.
present? I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. But was there ever a Christmas present you like really wanted and just never got? Anything coming to mind? No.
No.
Oh
Pretty-
man.
I'm only child, so maybe I'm spoiled.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mom and
I
dad got
had-
you.
Not even talking about N64. I had a NES back in the day.
Nice,
Oh, wow.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Holy smokes.
Awesome. Yeah.
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 I don't know.
But no, we're talking about being old again. Back in Weston Mall or wherever, you're meeting your friends. One of those, they call you from home, then you jump on the bus, then you
yeah.
meet at this
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
at this place. If that person doesn't show up,
You're like, what?
you
the
have no
hell?
idea what's happening now.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
there's, oh, what do I do
There's
now?
no plan B.
There's no
Yeah.
plan. There's no plan B.
Well, like it was funny. Like,
There's no text them, call them.
well, like I was talking to my parents like a while ago, and I'm like, how did you guys like organize like
Get-togethers.
a party on the weekends and stuff, and like how did you like coordinate all
Could
that?
make a Facebook event.
Yeah, like you can't make Facebook events, you can't call people, like you just had to have like so much trust in your friends to like
Show
up.
up.
Like, you know what I mean?
Not text everyone.
You
"Hey,
write a letter, send it out.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like so different now, and like
Yeah.
with like the phones and stuff, it's so easy for like someone to bail, like, oh, this came up, like, okay, that's
At least I know I'm
you're-
not waiting for you. or
yeah,
whatever,
like so
right?
there's
So,
that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's so
interesting.
it's
We-
crazy.
I feel like we were right in between that because making plans to like go to the mall in junior high, cell
Oh.
phones were early. Not everyone had one.
Yeah.
It was like $1 million to send a text message, so you had to use them sparingly.
Yeah, had to be
Right,
careful
so,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your first cell phone?
Oh,
This is a good question.
Just
Yeah.
it was I don't even know what brand it was. Maybe it was LG, but it was a silver flip phone, and it was the
LG
most.
Shine. That's what I
No,
had.
no,
No,
too.
was it
no.
black and white?
I had an
No,
LG
no,
Shine.
no. It wasn't a Shine. You know what? I think the screen might have had color actually,
'Kay.
but it was a flip phone. And it was a really like chunky, gross gray one.
That's
It
why I
was-
know you guys are much younger than I am.
How about you? Do you have a bag phone?
One of those borrow from. It's like one of those brick Nokia ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
No
okay.
color, nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
They didn't
Just,
have- they
but
didn't-
just
green-
It didn't,
screen?
it didn't even have Snake or anything at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But I
But-
had my first cell phone in high school.
Yeah.
It was a Talus/Clarinet, but it was pretty bricky too.
Yeah.
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 but was
Green
that when
screen.
it before it was flip? It was just like one.
Yeah, and then you had
Thing.
to pull the antenna out of the top.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Mine was like
This
a
was
gray.
my first one. Like
No.
Ooh, you're fancy.
Yeah,
LG.
you're-
Oh,
Fancy.
wow. That was a
you're-
nice
wow.
phone.
Yeah, that was a
You're
nice
excluded
phone.
from this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
it was
No,
like the.
I had the because it was in like grade 7. My
Yeah.
parents gave it to me just
You
in
had a phone in
case.
grade 7?
It was for emergencies. It's not like I
Oh.
actually
I had a
used
phone
it.
in grade 8 or 9. I want
It's
to
not like
say.
I had any
Yeah,
way
we
to
did.
But
text.
I did not have text messages when
Yeah,
I
I
first
couldn't
got it. It
text,
was like
yeah.
for
Yeah.
my parents to phone me. Sort
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
Thomas, come home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a flip telephone, black and white, extendo antenna. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I did.
That is
Yeah.
that's a throwback.
Yeah, bro.
We're the first. I think we're the first gen that is super heavily all cell phones. All you think about the waves that are going through the air for everything that we have Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Every,
Oh,
every kind
yeah,
of thing in
yeah,
a cell
yeah.
phone. Everything the 3G, 4G, 5G, whatever.
Yeah.
Everything that's
Yeah.
going on. I think we're the first gen because our parents didn't grow up with that, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
can that affect people? This is a thought I had. Can this
Mm.
affect? Is it a health thing? Does
Yeah.
nobody know?
Yeah.
It's like smoking back in the day. Nobody thought it was going to be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Oh, it's good. Everyone should be doing
There's
it.
supposedly research out
We were
there
just
from
talking
like the
about this,
80s and
yeah.
90s that says the cell phone waves are bad, basically, and they just didn't
We don't
really
know.
publish
Yeah.
it. So
That's the
Yeah.
huge thing against 5G.
yeah,
Is 5G is obviously the higher frequency.
Yeah.
So is
Apparently
that
it's
going to be?
bad.
Yeah, is that going to destroy us all? Who
Or
knows?
change the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to.
Or well, someone like us versus like your daughter, for example. She's only ever existed around those signals. Is she going to be more immune to them than us or
That's
something?
crazy.
So
But
yeah,
we all have, how like smoking causes problems.
Yeah.
As more recent, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe more light has come to it, right?
Totally, yeah.
For the
Mhm.
past 15, 20 years or whatever that
Yeah.
may be. In 30 years from now, people could be dropping off because of
Like
4G or whatever.
Yeah.
brain.
Something,
cancer.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But we're the first time. I think we're the first generation to explore or to go through that, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
no,
we'll
that's
have
interesting.
those problems late in life.
My
right?
question with the
Or could not
5G,
be.
yeah, my question with the 5G is like, all these companies are investing heavily into those like fiber technologies and stuff, and 5G just makes it all irrelevant essentially. Like 5G is just so much better.
Is it?
And yeah,
It's always
I don't
gonna
know
like
the
technical
fine details about
Yeah.
5G, but they say it's
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah. it'll be
not
so
only
much
speed, but
faster. Yeah,
the case studies, like the cars, self-driving trucks across the U.S.
it'll enable the technology.
It enables that
Yeah.
reach
Yeah.
and that speed,
Yeah,
and for them to understand if something's coming up on the road, they
Yeah.
can use the internet to
yeah, yeah,
make those machine
It
learning
effectively
make those
will-
machine learning calls, right?
yeah. No, it's very. I think that
yeah.
this decade is going to be, seeing as we're ending this decade and moving on to the
Moving
next
into a
one.
new one.
so
Yeah.
wild to me.
Yeah,
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
AI and machine learning.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be. Yeah, that's a big thing too, right?
Mhm.
For how that affects our day-to-day life, right? And
yeah.
we'll probably have the golden years where AI is nice and they're kind of everyone has a personal assistant, and then they're like, hey, wait a minute. I'm way smarter than you.
Yeah.
we'll
So
we'll see how that
scary.
goes. Yep.
What's your view on it, Eric? Are you apocalyptic, or are you
Pro or
I'm
con?
pro. I'm pro.
Yeah.
I think the world will shift and we will adapt with that. And there's a lot of good things technology can bring us.
Mhm.
Good, especially in the healthcare world.
Mhm.
People
Definitely in the
connect
healthcare world, yeah.
with each other and everything.
Yeah.
I think the healthcare one's a big one that I see.
For AI or just
For
in
everything,
generally?
yeah, in general.
Actually, that's
yeah.
yeah. I would agree.
Mhm.
AI, I actually haven't really thought about how that would affect healthcare.
think
but
AI
in
is
theory,
just
that
gonna,
would
like-
make a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Even for something like programming, like how you arrange hospital beds and stuff, it could maybe
Or
like a small change like that, and
machine
then
learning could read something, or we're visually seeing something on an X-ray, or I'm not sure the fine details, right?
Yeah.
But maybe it knows
Analyze
better,
it faster or
analyzes
whatever.
better,
Yeah.
catches
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
could have caught,
Yeah.
or other things like 3D printing
Yeah.
in
For-
organs.
Yeah,
Ultrasound's
yeah,
a big one
exactly.
too with that. Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
3D
better,
printing
but-
has been around for a long time. It's
Yeah.
just not really caught on yet. It's not like a household thing.
People
just
use
yet.
it for like to make cool things, but
make
Yeah.
little trinkets.
Yeah, yeah.
There are some practical industrial medical uses and stuff, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just not as cool, I guess. I don't know. It's sort of. I feel like it's sort of in the background. People
So
don't
at the
think about
department
it as
at
much.
Miscordia, we met them a while back. They're showing us
Oh,
they could
cool.
3D print like an ear or nose.
Yeah,
Wow,
that
really?
part's
Yeah.
crazy.
I know that that's happening.
or a heart even,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they're far to get it functioning.
Get it like
but-
functioning
but
and adapting, but
My
feel
dad
like
was telling me
they
about
can
that.
they
yeah.
can make the shell, if you will, of it.
Yeah,
right?
it's
So-
Yeah.
freaky.
in 20 years we're going to see a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And something else who said this generation, like our generation, should live extra 20, 30 years ideally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If cell phones don't kill us, but like
Yeah.
technology, and then this next generation, like my daughter born, should be like 130, right?
That's
yeah,
so
so
crazy.
that's-
yeah,
pretty
that's a
crazy.
good point. Where the lifespan probably should increase, right?
Increase
So
based on
Who's like the oldest person
technology.
ever? I wonder. Like
like
longest.
120
like
something.
100 and
Maybe
I thought it
hun-
was like
Also,
150
like
or
longest
something.
living
But
person.
anyways,
And I was also amazed in that same podcast. They were talking about whales. I think the Greenland whale lives to 500.
Yeah,
Some
Really?
blue
Wow.
whales
So
live.
they
Yeah.
yeah.
live
Some
like-
turtles live a long.
Yeah,
time,
turtles.
500.
Don't sharks live for a long time?
I don't
too?
know.
Could I be
Can you
mistaken? on
imagine
that?
if our lifespan was 500?
Yeah,
500 years.
How many episodes of this? podcast would we
Millions
on
of
like
episodes.
20, like
Yeah.
50,000 episodes. Yeah, jeez.
Oldest living person is 112.
Ever though, ever. Not right now.
Like
Oh.
yeah, oldest
Yeah.
person ever.
Yeah.
Ever?
That's a good point. And then if you think about that, we would all
100
be infants, relatively
100,
speaking, right? So-
22.
There you go.
oh, okay.
122. That's
Yeah.
what I kind of.
Yeah.
Some French
But
lady.
there's also living and being alive and quality of life.
Yes.
too.
Totally,
So what
yeah.
they're saying,
Those are interesting
um,
points
Christoph
for sure.
listened to was saying how can we increase that lifespan, but not be in a wheelchair or have
Yeah.
to not be able
You're
to
not
eat
just-
or on depend.
Yeah, yeah.
depend,
You're
you know,
not just dragging out being old. You're being healthy for
That's
a
right. They wanna
longer
be able
span,
to
right? So
have a 100-year-old person have a 60-year-old body. Let's say.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the finality of it all just makes life worth living.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, there's kind of I don't watch Black Mirror, but I hearken to that or kind of harp on this where there's kind of a fetishization of the negative sides of technology because I don't know, it's fun to dwell on. It makes good
Yeah.
TV, but I don't think it's all bad, right? So
No.
No, I think everything is perspective.
But there can be
Mhm.
bad as
Mhm.
well.
yeah.
It's how you
Yeah.
use it. Everything's a tool, right? It's
Totally.
It's like a knife is a tool for cutting things, and
You can
it's how
use-
you use it.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Social media could be bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can
right,
use it
so-
to expand your reach, or you can use it to
Yeah.
relentlessly hope for likes
That's
correct.
on
Exactly.
the pictures that I'm posting. So
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like your Christmas sweaters,
Thank you.
cardigans.
Not bad.
Oh,
eh?
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
is a little
Sweater,
bit
yeah.
worse than the one I was wearing yesterday. The other one I was wearing yesterday had lights on it when you move,
I like that.
and it was a
Yeah.
gingerbread man, and it said "Eat me."
Yeah.
I only have
These
this one,
ones-
so this one
These
kind of
ones
makes the
are
rounds.
made the rounds.
No one told me there was a Christmas sweater.
Sorry, that's my
Day.
fault.
Thomas.
I know.
Oh
I
my
screwed
goodness.
up.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
screwed up on the invites.
Do you have a nice one?
No.
No.
Or
Oh.
do you have a funny one?
But I would have got something
Would
interesting.
have got something.
Yeah.
Nathan
I have an Oilers one.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Oh,
Nathan,
nice.
or one of our buddies came in just for the first one today, and he was wearing one that said "Let it rain" or "Make it
Make
rain."
it rain.
Oh.
And
Make
it's
it
like
rain.
REIN. It's a reindeer, and then he had like a switch in his, and he turned it on, and all the antlers lit up.
There's
Wow.
that. That was good.
It's pretty elaborate. So
Is there merch? Do you guys have your own merch for the podcast?
Work
I feel
in
like
progress.
We need that.
Work in progress.
2020,
Yeah.
long and hard merch.
Yeah.
I'm glad you feel that we. That's
So
awesome.
Thomas gonna walk around with this shirt, just long and hard. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
That'll
We
get
were.
some looks.
We. That's in the works for the version 1.0.
Yeah.
I actually was gonna work on it, but I wanted to wait till after Christmas just because all the like print on demand sites were super like. No one would get them till the new year anyway, so I figured I'd just wait till after the holiday season. So
Get your kid long and hard merch for Christmas. What is this?
next year we'll have
With the promo code.
yeah we'll have
Eric 20.
exactly yeah that'll be good. Uh,
So what else? It's great to be back second time around here.
yeah
Yeah.
we're
I had a
thank
good
you
time
for
the
coming
first
back.
time.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Did you get any feedback or comments or anything?
I've
on
had
it afterwards,
people
or-
reach out to me who reach out to me from the marketing world, and they wanted to learn more about marketing because they heard my episode in your podcast.
Wow.
Really?
That was
Nice.
awesome.
That's good news.
really
The reach
really
is
solidifies
growing.
you as an expert being on our show.
Yeah. But yeah, the reach is growing. I like that.
Excellent. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate that. That's,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
it's good feedback.
It's a
Have
lot
you-
of it's a lot of fun, honestly,
yeah.
and consistency. is
Have you
key,
been
so.
on like any other podcasts or anything
Yeah.
like that, or like kind of expanding your reach like via these sort of platforms? or?
You're doing
Well,
one
you-
now, aren't you?
I'm
have
trying
one.
to. I'm trying to launch one called The Journey. We have I've recorded one. I haven't been as consistent as I should be, as well as you guys are.
Yeah.
Buddy of mine, John from Move Team. He was
Yeah.
on it the first
Okay.
one. It'll probably
Oh,
come out
cool.
this week. But I wanted to kind of bank them before I roll them out. But
Mm.
So you have a
it
little
hasn't-
time.
Hasn't
yeah.
been working out too
Yeah.
well. 'Cause
Mhm.
we've just been
Busy,
tied up,
yeah.
or people been busy, or
Yeah.
whatever that
Yeah.
be. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have I been on other ones? It's kind of like video, kind of vlog ones for marketing. I just was on one this week earlier. Grant McEwen Marketing Club
Oh, cool.
came into our office and
Nice.
recorded one.
Sweet. Nice.
And someone reached out to me yesterday to be on another one.
Oh, wow.
Local one as well?
That's good.
Local one. Another student from, I think it's a student from Grant McEwen.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
sweet.
Awesome.
Good
Nice.
stuff.
So, yeah,
You're
another one.
you're an McEwen alumnus as well, correct?
No, not at
no.
all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Did you go to university?
I
You
did not.
did.
No,
You
I
didn't?
did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
no,
Let's
I
hear
remember
that
saying
story.
Yeah.
We did
No,
hear.
we actually did hear the story.
Please
Oh, was it
refer
on-
back
oh,
to
oh,
episode.
Did we, or was it off? It was off. Could have been after.
No,
No,
you
we
told us
did
this.
talk
Right?
about it
Okay.
because
Yeah.
you
Oh,
talked
cool.
about moving to Vancouver
Yeah.
for a
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you came back
Awesome.
with
Yeah.
and worked with the printing company
Yeah.
and
Started
Yeah.
working with the car dealership.
dealership.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I remember
all
it
that.
now that I
Yeah.
now that we
Yeah.
talked about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome,
Cool.
good
Yeah.
stuff. That's
But it
cool.
was fun to talk to all the students.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
recently at one of their networking events. They had me on as a speaker and talk about my journey a little bit and
Mhm.
how I started the company. And then I answered a whole bunch of students' questions after. It was pretty
Yep.
good.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
How's was that your first? Because I know you posted about it and you said have you done much public speaking or was that,
That was
kind
my
of your
first largest, that big
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The week before that, I was speaking to the Red Academy at U of A Faculty of Extension.
Mhm.
It's only about 5-7 students and an instructor,
Mhm.
which is more of a up close personal Q&A and
Yeah,
tell
seminar,
stories. So the first one was at the Central Social for
Mm-hmm.
60
Nice.
kids or so.
Yeah,
cool.
That's decent.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Scary, but it was okay.
Yeah.
You
It worked out.
felt pretty good about it. Yeah, awesome.
awesome.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. I like. I have to tip my hat to McEwen because I always feel like they've been a little more outside the box thinking for a university, at least. But that's my semi-biased opinion
Take
as someone
on it,
who went
yeah.
there, right? So, but
Yeah. The Long and Hard podcast is actually supposed to be doing a elementary school. Weren't we supposed to be doing
we
that?
were asked, but it never quite fabricated.
Oh.
They want to, because they had in their technology unit, they were doing a podcast thing, and then we couldn't quite arrange a time they were asking our
Oh.
2 cents on how to do it and stuff, right? But
Yeah, that's how you know you made it.
Elementary school
Again,
reaching
yeah,
out.
elementary
it was
school.
very,
Asking for
it was
advice.
very appreciative of them, but yeah, unfortunately, we took ours too long getting our act together, and the ship kind of sailed. But it was nice to be asked. It would have been cool. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I enjoy these podcasts. I think it's good. Good to get
Yeah.
out there.
it's fun. It's a good, it's a pretty casual medium, I think. And then for any guest, it's a good way for anyone who follows you, works with you, whatever, to get to know you in a little more depth. It's a little more relaxed atmosphere, right? So they get to know the personal side of you, assuming you're a nice person and stuff, right? They probably want to work with you
Yeah.
more, I think.
We
so.
will have done 40 by the end of this year.
Yeah.
that's
Wow,
really
that's
good, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. which
Well,
is
40 plus 12,
12, so
52
Yeah, 52
effectively.
episodes.
That's
Wow.
literally
Yeah.
one a week.
One a
Wow.
week.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
technically, yeah. And then even I find for us, it works well for getting to meet new people, because if you reach out to someone who's
laugh.
doing something business wise or
Yeah,
on
totally.
social or whatever their forte is, if you're like, hey, want to go for coffee, and you just want to chat with them, maybe they'll say yes, or maybe they'll be like, who are you? How did
What
you
do you
get my
want?
phone number?
What's your
what do you
pyramid
want?
scheme you're trying to sell?
Yeah, exactly. Right. But if you're like, hey, want to come on my podcast? People are like,
Oh, you've
I guess.
Yeah.
Right? They're a little more open to it.
We haven't
right?
had
So
too many people shut us down.
we've
Yeah.
had
so.
very few no's.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. And now we have a little more legs to stand on. So, and thank you to you and all our other early guests. It really helps us. And now
Yeah.
it's kind of a thing. So we can be like,
Yeah.
hey, here's this thing we do. Want to come?
I always
Jump
recommend
in.
that for content strategies or
Yeah.
just building people. People ask, what should I do for marketing? So, build an interview series, build a podcast,
Yep.
and whatever type of clients you're looking for. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Even
it's-
for students looking for jobs, said, why don't you build a podcast or an interview series? And let's say the ones that are looking for marketing jobs, start interviewing agencies and day
Yeah.
in life in an agency, and just start reaching out to everybody. And,
Yeah.
and at the end of when you finish school, you now are friends with all these people from different agencies around the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well, even,
Yeah.
give value first, right?
even the
Totally.
even the friendships we built like just this year off of. I mean, we've made like 5 or 10 new friends that are just like stand-up comedians in the city that we would have never known about if we hadn't reached out to them. Like other podcasts, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty, I don't know, nice. It's kind of special. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm also grateful that people are so receptive to it, generally speaking, too.
Tell
So,
me, guys,
yeah,
what's
it's a lot of fun.
2020? What's next for the podcast?
oh
More.
yeah, well, we're doing an episode a week for sure.
Yeah, we're
So-
going to keep up the pace, and then just trying to reach to, and no offense to any previous guests, because we just had lots of our friends because we wanted to change up the conversation and stuff, but kind of trying to reach out to bigger people and stuff in terms of following or what they've done or people just outside of our sphere. So just
So I'm not big
growth
enough
that
anymore
way,
for you, right?
So
I won't be back in.
no. You'll not at all. But
Yeah.
Natural evolution of
yeah,
everything.
yeah, exactly, right. So
Yep.
because we have had a few where it's literally just our buddies, which have been some great episodes and people like them because we just banter and BS such as we normally do, and we want to keep that mixed in. But
Yeah.
like I was kind of saying, the more more growth,
If
I guess,
you had
right?
to think of like a few people that you'd want on here, that's like your dream guests.
Oh,
Joe Rogan,
Joe Rogan.
Elon Musk.
I bet you Joe will be right
Elon
here.
Musk.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Like for next year, sort of
Yeah,
What do you think would be attainable?
I'm gonna
for
hold
next
you
year?
guys to this. So.
Yeah.
thing. This is good. This is good.
I like this.
I would like because there's a few people I would like to get who are more just kind of local influencers or whatever, and a few I've reached out to have said yes already. So attainable. I would like to
What
have.
do you mean by influencer?
Well, that's a great question, Eric.
Asking the good questions over here. I like
well, I guess it's dependent on, well, what is the metric, right? I guess so. To answer your question with a question, but let people with decent followings, but not just solely because like someone who does something with that, right? So whether it be, and then we're kind of trying to categorize our podcasts so how we schedule as well. So someone who's maybe a little more businessy, someone who's maybe more fitness, someone maybe more sports, then just like our buddies for a good old fashioned long and hard podcast time, right? And kind of rotate that way, and a little more solo shows too, just for like maybe like one every 6 weeks or something like that.
Like it used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
how we started.
kind of
Back
a healthy,
to the roots.
healthy mix, back to the roots. But I would like to have someone from the Oilers on by the end of 2020.
Okay.
I'm not going to discriminate too
Dude,
much on who it is.
James,
who?
if you got James Neal on the show, I would lose it.
I actually don't have someone specific in mind, just whoever we can
Interesting.
rope
Who
into
would you
it.
like?
Dude, James Neal, 100%.
I think it would be
Big fan
cool
of the
to
real deal.
see.
He's the best.
I would like to have someone a bit older for a professional hockey player.
James Neal.
So like getting around.
He's literally
yeah, exactly.
He's such
yeah,
a veteran.
someone,
Like, he's been around.
either a vet or someone maybe
Mike Smith would be a good guest.
yeah, someone
Oh,
Mike Smith.
yeah.
Mike
he'd
Smith
be
would be a
cool.
solid guest.
Him and I would
good.
mesh.
It would
Dude,
have
yeah.
to be someone
Yeah.
who's like a little more of a beauty, to use a hockey term, right?
Totally,
I
yeah.
think Cassian would be good.
I
too.
was gonna say
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
that's an obvious
Yeah,
one though.
I'd have to watch some of those guys' interviews and figure out how we can.
Who do you think
get in
gives the
touch with them.
best like interviews on the Oilers? Like the more, because like some
I
of the
don't-
guys are pretty
but I don't
like
really
blah,
listen
blah.
to it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think like I don't know. I think like Oscar Clefbaum always gives like
Does he?
pretty funny insights.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
he kind of has a personality, and he
Mhm.
has like that like accent, so it kind of comes off as like funnier too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know,
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
An Oiler, hey?
dude. If
What
we had,
about
that'd
you?
be awesome.
Daryl Cates.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, like,
Intriguing.
I thought Lucic was good at interviews.
Luch
Was
is
he?
solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luch is like an actual
I don't
person.
really
like,
watch
he's pretty
interviews
chilled
is
out,
my
yeah.
thing too, so I have no. I would have to watch. And
You don't
have
want
no
like.
frame of reference.
I like how he calls out the refs. And
Oh
so
yeah, he
on.
doesn't give a
Yeah.
crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he doesn't give a shit about anybody. Like he'll
Yeah.
say whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So no particular Oilers won. What else? There?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don Iverson.
I was
Don
I was gonna
Iverson.
say Don
Donnie-
Iverson.
I think
Donnie
he would do
Ives.
it.
The dude. The
He
guy
seems to be kind of
Personal.
hip with it like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he would do
Man,
it.
he rides a bike to work. Like, of course he'll come on a podcast.
Edward Snowden.
Oh, he was on Joe Rogan
Yeah, yeah.
like a month or so ago.
You have to do an internet podcast.
Yeah, like on
Yeah. Yeah.
Really lock
cool.
down our network beforehand.
Yeah.
too,
How do
so.
you feel like this is an awesome space? You have the podcast, but what about people that are not in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Like
See-
Edward Stone.
Yeah.
Would you fly him in, or
this is
or-
something?
or would you go
well,
remote,
him, no. Unfortunately, we couldn't. But
yeah. Could we fly to him?
Yeah.
Would we be
Yeah.
allowed to
Would you
come
be allowed
back?
to?
yeah,
Yeah.
would be allowed to
But-
leave Russia. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if we were.
It would be like one of those movies where like everyone's like gets a bag over their head. They drive to like some neutral country,
Yeah.
meet in like a random building,
Yeah.
and then get driven away from it.
yeah, totally.
But to answer your question, I mean, yes, but
See it.
economics.
Well,
Paying
and
for
then
a flight.
to
So
that
the
too,
podcast
because
I don't like the split screen podcast. Where you're on the phone. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
this kind of interaction.
Yeah.
see that's it too, because there's lots of semi-popular shows out there that are the split screen and whatever, and you can kind of you have
It's a
no
Zoom call or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but you have no geographical restrictions, which is
Yeah.
good. In theory, you can expand more and faster that way.
Yeah.
But exactly what you said, and that's what we like, is we just because that's technically how our show started when it was just us two.
Yeah.
And we really love the in-person aspect just for all the various reasons of it's also more natural conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because Zoom is more like a Skype or a phone call where it's I talk, pause, you talk,
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
I talk, pause, right? Versus us just
Did you ever watch London Real? Listen to London
No.
Real? It's a really good podcast. The guy is an ex-finance guy. He moved to London, and he flies in a bunch of, like, he's had Grant
what is he?
Cardone. He's had
Oh, okay, yeah.
all these different guys on.
You've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Other people have mentioned it before,
Yeah.
actually. So
But even doing something like that, or you fly people
is
out
it
to
real,
a
like
studio.
REAL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they sit across from each other in, like, sofa
Yeah.
chairs, and they're wearing lavs, so they're not, like, they don't have this setup. But,
Mm.
yeah.
I think, and then one thing I've kind of been thinking of is because there's also there's a little bit of a Edmonton podcast scene, if you will, right? Which I like to think we at least contribute to, and
Dominate.
Dominate.
I like that better.
Since Spencer's
but
name
you
on
know,
the team, it's
Hey,
yeah,
thank you.
But you know, there's that within other cities too. So
Right.
kind of trying to find those shows, and then maybe find something where we like go there for a weekend, or they drive up or whatever, and then something like that to kind of
Do like 5 podcasts a
intra-provincial or something like that, or you know what I mean?
Intra-provincial.
Yeah, inter-provincial, right?
Yeah.
So
See,
Or even
fine.
Calgary, like
exactly,
as, like,
exactly.
as much as we like to hate on Calgary a little bit, but you know,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some
exactly.
pretty good podcasts down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe.
No.
Probably
Wrong,
not.
wrong.
But yeah.
Flames suck.
Yeah, probably not. But
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, something like that. Is something I kind of would like to do. I think that'd be a cool experience.
Yeah,
so.
do a couple in a weekend or something, and
Yeah, something like that.
that'd be dope.
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
like to grow that way, get
Mhm.
bigger
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
bigger guests. But I do want to keep it semi-local, just for the sake of keeping it just an in-person show as well, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of my goal, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we did the whole split screens thing. It's I don't know.
yeah,
tough.
and if that's your style, power to you. But I also think it would be weird if this is our main format and then we just have one random Skype
Yeah.
one, and it would just not be work. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Wouldn't be cohesive.
Anyways, do you have a dream guest? A realistic dream guest for next year, perhaps? Put out those good vibes to the universe, sort of thing. So
Barack Obama.
Barack.
Just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, I think that somebody Edmonton centric, maybe looking at like the Avenue 30 under 30 or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seeing
40
those-
under 40.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the one I'm
stuff
looking
like
for.
that. Yeah.
that's a
and-
good idea.
Cool to
So
have
those
someone,
guys on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I agree.
Someone
Someone-
that's on that list.
Someone cool
Yeah.
on that list. I would need to go pick up an edition of Avenue, I suppose.
Yeah,
Like
have a look.
a new
yeah.
list or old list?
Probably an older list. I think that's a
You think
newer
so?
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you-
More like
I'm not up on the-
established
Are you on that
person.
list?
I'm not on that list. No.
Oh.
No. You can nominate me though.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, like,
I
we
will.
will.
We will.
I will.
We will.
Vote is in.
What's the
But I
what's the
could probably find a
process?
couple people who are alumni who might
Yeah.
want to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
That'd be
awesome.
Yeah.
Because then
appreciate
that's Edmonton centric. It's local.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone who owns or does something locally.
Yep.
That would be interesting
There's
to talk to.
tons.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have an idea. I'll say it off air though.
Okay, sounds good.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 I like what you meant. You were gonna segment like the business or the
Mhm. Yeah.
you know, fitness or
Yeah.
community, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to just because we would, as we kept getting more guests and kind of expanding our reach and networks and whatever you want to say, we would kind of bunch too many together of kind of the same thing, and then okay, bye, Josh. Bunch too many of kind of the
I'll take
same
over
or
for a
similar
sec.
thing, and then kind of like fall flat. Like it wasn't, it wouldn't make sense to have, like, just using a random metric. Like, let's say we get a bunch of people who all have 10,000 Instagram followers or whatever, and we do them like 3 in a row, and then we do like 3 in a row of our buddies just for listen's sake. It'll kind of peak and then so it kind of makes more sense to vary that content and stuff just for
Yeah.
kind of the, like, from the business point of view of growth sake. I think that is helpful, and then just to give a good variety, right? Because if we have 2 super fitnessy people next to each other or whatever, it just kind of becomes the same conversation.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I listened to, and I'm trying to get back to it. I used to listen to a lot of Lewis Howes podcasts.
right, yes,
Okay. Yeah.
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 School of Greatness, and
Mhm.
he categorized it to business, motivation,
Mhm.
whatever,
Yep.
all the different categories.
Yeah.
But he has people from across the board.
Yep.
To
Can I get you to
authors,
turn your mic a
singers.
little bit? Yeah, you need.
Closer? Okay,
Yeah,
closer.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect. Yeah. There.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It's
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to see the progression, how this goes.
like
Yeah.
it seems
I
like
appreciate that.
the whole podcast thing, like, at least in the last, I don't know, like, I feel like it's become it's sort of like a
Kind of a thing.
it's sort of a
right?
newer
So-
thing now. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, across, like, all of, like, like, whether it be like, like the business, sports,
comedy.
for you, marketing,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
comedy. It seems like it's becoming more of a way to, like, market oneself in a specific field. Like, have you kind of, like, sort of noticed that in your career, I guess? Like, it's become more of a thing to, like, market.
Well,
Or I
everyone,
guess it's a-
reiterate the question?
everyone,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone has a podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's what is your unique. It's a double-edged sword of. It's a thing, like, people consume them. They want them, right? They
Yeah.
like them. It's a medium of content that you like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so, but then you have to, there's very low barriers to entry, which we talked about before, and
Totally,
then
yeah.
so I don't know, like all things, it's a double-edged sword when you get that kind of democratized
Yeah, I
market,
guess,
if you
yeah,
will.
that's true, yeah.
The
and
cream
how-
rises to
Yeah.
the top.
You
Yeah,
still have to be,
exactly.
yeah, again,
You have to be good,
you have to be
right?
good.
So-
But then there's going to be people who like all different kinds of content.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
exactly, right? So
I mean, at
Some
the end
people
of the
love
day-
these homegrown, and some people love just the big name brands,
Yep.
the Tony
Yeah.
Robbins podcast, whatever that may be, right?
Yeah, for sure.
exactly. So
But if your question was to, can you position yourself, if you're talking about like a market or a segment
Yeah.
through a podcast,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
gives you relevance without really any, like I don't have to write a book or get it published.
Yeah.
It gives you relevance.
But let's say I
Totally.
knew nothing about, I don't know, cars, and I wanted to do a podcast about cars to meet people in that industry.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna launch a car podcast or show interviewing
Like
dealership owners or
and like
Mhm.
enthusiasts
or whatever,
whatever.
enthusiasts
Yeah.
or influencers
Collectors
or
or
collectors, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
With me knowing nothing about cars, but bringing the people who are the authorities and the leaders in that industry, now my podcast is now the authority of that,
True. Yeah,
whatever that may
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Makes sense. Yeah.
as long as you bring in the right people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
we have a
Exactly.
buddy who, well, I'll just drop his name, Kieran.
Yeah.
He went through his situation, and he was doing public speaking engagements, and then he wrote a book, and then that just changed everything. So I feel like doing the
Oh, yeah.
podcast is almost like having the book.
Totally. Okay.
So
yeah.
you can point people to the content and be like, I know what I'm talking about, you know,
Yeah.
or I've spoke about this,
Mhm.
or
Before,
whatever.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Definitely.
I
And-
like the low barrier of entry for everything.
I do.
Mhm.
You
I
can
do
have your
too.
own show. You can have your own radio show.
Yep.
like we have right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have
Yeah.
your own book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to do it.
Well, no, you
be
have to
frank.
definitely have
Yeah.
like a
At
drive
the end of the
to
day, you
do
only
it,
have a
yeah.
small
yeah,
percent of the total population, and then
Yeah.
you have to cut through
lots of people
noise
start.
as well.
There's not a lot of people that,
Continue.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Interesting.
consistency is
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
So to turn that question back on you with your podcast,
Right.
the who and what of you would like to be interviewing, what's kind of your goal or vision there?
Oh yeah.
We have a couple things. We have 12 TV. This is where we're trying to segment it out. 12 TV is a business branding and marketing show / podcast where we talk about those three topics and bringing people in the industry who
Yeah.
can shine light in those. Then I wanted to do something on my own because I find people's journeys just so interesting to where they got to today or
Yeah.
whatever that may be, business or not.
Mhm.
So I started one, back in my head and
Yeah.
I started recording called The Journey, and that's where we're just
Yeah.
asking people how they got to where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are able to learn from other people's life stories.
Yeah, for sure. So one more business and one more personal kind of thing, right? Like
Yeah.
One more
divide.
one more tactics,
Yeah.
and one more
Right. Well, one more
Stor-
specific to the
story.
marketing world.
Yes.
Like any marketer would benefit from that versus anyone, or if you're a marketer, you would benefit from it
yeah
per se, right? Like
If
very
you're looking for
kind of
tactics or
technical
a
talk,
little more
right?
a little more technical, a little more tactics, a
Sure.
little more in the weeds.
Yeah,
Where the
In
other
the
ones,
weeds. I like that.
the other ones more life stories.
just hanging out,
hanging out.
talking about their come up or whatever, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Whatever that
on
looks
the
like.
personal
Awesome.
level.
Cool.
So that's something
Cool.
I like to break down and get more into, creating more content in 2020.
The journeys that like a lot of people take are pretty like intriguing. Hey.
Yeah, and even if it's
It's
not,
very, like
overcoming injuries and poverty
yeah.
and
Like,
this and that,
rough
it just,
home life or
just
whatever, yeah.
it's cool to hear
yeah.
what other people have done, right?
Yeah,
exactly,
For
yeah.
better or for worse, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sometimes it's learning lessons. And
Oh, for
sometimes it's
sure, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Experiences.
I'm like driving. I'm going for lunch. I'm listening to Josh's story about being in a helicopter. Like,
It's
you know, I'm just
wild.
like,
Hey?
wow, this is crazy.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
But that's where I like to see that go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good
that's,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
And then on the content note, so you also now have 12. I know we weren't going to talk about, but I'm just curious. So
Well, we
the
can talk
12
about it.
questions, that's more blog focus,
blog
correct?
format. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 12 Qs is exactly what you talked about earlier, where it's great that we can reach out and meet new people easily.
Yeah.
You know, we have local,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we'll call them influencers, to business owners, to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We have some bands that are coming up. In
Oh,
12
cool.
Qs.
Sweet.
Nice.
It's something that we want to just keep build fun content on our site, and also build our network.
Mm-hmm.
So we reached out to a business owner and sneaker and fashion influencer out in Toronto. His
Oh, wow.
Instagram,
Right.
his
Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah. I saw that.
handles combined have over 1 million users.
Holy smokes.
So I reached out to him, just DM,
Mm-hmm.
hey, would you want to come on 12 Qs? This is what we're talking about. And he said, sure, why not? It's great.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
and they supply the pictures for their favorite photos, and they answer 12 questions, and
Yeah.
we throw it up there.
And it's all kind of, it's purely text based, right? So it's kind
purely
of
text-based.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's relatively easy to do. I
That's
guess right for
Yeah.
for scale and time commitment. You don't have
Yeah.
to sit down
Definitely.
I love that medium.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
Yeah.
text.
yeah. Josh actually recently wrote a blog post.
Yeah, for
For
a clothing company in the city here. So
Yeah.
So I like that because we're able to extend our reach to other cities,
Mhm.
right? I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Our thoughts also is if they share the content out to their followers in London, Toronto, wherever that may be, there's people visiting 12 Creative from different markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and then we were talking about this because blog is almost a little more old school in a way, but for the one Josh did, it was cool because rather than just having a off the cuff conversation, you actually get to sit and really think about what you're writing, and you're a fairly good writer as well. So the responses were pretty well thought out and
well,
insightful, but concise at the same time.
I said to Kevin, I was like, if you had given me these questions in the moment, the answers I would have came up would have been fine, but they wouldn't have been like me sitting and thinking about it and being like, this is actually what I want to say. Whereas in this situation, it's kind of more like, well, I do have to reply in the next 10 to 15 seconds, otherwise
I just look
otherwise
kind
it's
of dumb
gonna
just
be
sitting
weird.
here
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a nice way of kind of getting deeper with it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel that medium is still relevant.
I
for
think
sure.
so too.
Yeah.
I think all mediums are relevant and they should be applied across the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be somebody who enjoys that particular medium.
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's different
Absolutely.
in your audience. There's different kinds of viewers who like certain things.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some mediums that will work better on different even social platforms or something like that, right? Like I think there's the space that I've always slacked on, but always see a lot of potential is like LinkedIn articles, because you can publish original articles on there and good blog posts for me specifically, like some real estate advice or something I'm talking about that day or week or whatever. I think that would be useful. And trying to find, well, even for you between 12 TV and then the journey, like with us, the one thing I've kind of struggled with, and maybe this is in my own mind, is what is LinkedIn appropriate? Because our title is the Long and Hard Podcast, and sometimes we have like kind of edgy show names, or our guest is a comedian and we just kind of banter around, versus sometimes we have or a local business person and talk more business, talk shop there. So
I don't know if anybody knows the difference between LinkedIn and Facebook these days. So
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
I guess, right?
honestly,
So-
I love LinkedIn now. It's kind of blowed up to organic content
Yeah.
and reach is amazing.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
not
so-
really algorithmatized quite
much.
yet,
I think, well,
or as
it's
much.
like Facebook 5-10 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
exactly. So, and
Yeah.
that's part of it too, I think.
But I think you can choose what content you want to put on there. Again, there's going to be someone who's engineer at whatever that's going to love your banter about whatever that may be.
with
I
the
don't think you have to
comedian.
worry about that.
True,
Yeah.
true.
That's true. What do you
Good
think
point.
about like just repackaging? Like, so like, okay, I wrote a blog post. Now I do a video on the exact same content, and now I do a podcast on the same content. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
one piece of content could be repackaged a few
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then you cut it up into like 7 Facebook videos that are
there's
3
different
minutes
people,
or whatever. And,
There's different people everywhere in all these different platforms, and also don't forget how the algorithm is, doesn't show your content the first time around. People who may or may not like it.
Yep.
So even if it's repeated a few times, that person, you think it's a lot because you posted it 3 times in a couple of days.
Yeah.
but they might
But
see one.
Thomas only
right.
saw it once,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's one. And that one
Yeah.
time is when
Wow.
it resonates.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we should be posting a lot more.
Interesting.
Posting a lot more.
Posting a lot more.
I like to try to post a lot, but you find yourself
And
policing yourself a
but
little
the people who are
Yeah.
your true fans and love your
Yeah,
content,
they're not going to care.
they're gonna want more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
want
They're
more.
not going to
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah,
posting 10 times a
absolutely.
day. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Mm.
True.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
repackaging is good.
Interesting. Yeah. I like it.
If you can spread your education and whatever post may be to more people, that's important.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the goal, I guess, right? So, we're actually almost at an hour here, so that
wow,
that
that
flew
went
by.
by fast.
Yeah, it does. It's
This day's actually going by
yeah,
fast.
yeah,
So.
it has. I want to ask you. So
We haven't
what's
scratched the surface even.
Yeah, I know.
hey,
Yeah,
seriously.
there's lots more.
We
Well,
may
for
get the
2020
fans thirsty for more.
Yeah,
to
for 2020, our goal is to have Eric back.
Eric back. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Happy
3.
So speaking
I'm
of
fall
20,
within the category that Thomas set for 2020.
There
guests.
you go. Yeah.
we'll
I
work
don't
you
know.
into the
I would-
rotation.
The big cojones.
The big cojones of Edmonton.
Yeah.
What-
I'll work my way up.
Exactly. so will we.
Yeah, exactly.
What are your goals for next year and for 12 Creative and beyond? World
Ooh.
domination
Deep
or
question.
I think we'd like to expand to different cities. We do a
Yeah,
lot of our
that's-
clients are in Edmonton, Calgary.
mhm.
But I'd like to expand more around the world. Where
Nice.
we are doing more campaigns for different organizations,
Yeah.
large and small, which is fun. But we also like to get a little more into the education space and the online digital product space ourselves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So we do exercises for clients, kind of like branding exercises. We have a brand questionnaire, kind of like a brand journey.
Yeah.
We work with clients to kind of uncover what their goals are and what their true meaning is and how to position them moving forward. But I like to take that and put that into a product, like a digital product, where someone
Oh, yeah.
in Paris can purchase it
Kind of
and-
do your
and
online
and
course,
can do
yeah.
the online part, and we won't have to be there with them, but they could
Still get value
still
out of
reap the
it. and-
benefits
yeah.
of what
Yeah.
we've learned over the past 5-10 years.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So that's something we
Cool.
like to get
No,
more
that's
into.
that's really good. Yeah.
Get more reach of people. The restaurant owner, in Sydney can download this guide that we build from all our experience that we've worked with restaurants, and it's going to be
Applied to their stuff.
low cost entry,
Wow.
and they can apply it to their
Awesome.
day-to-day life, and that's something we'd like to get into.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So would being a multi-city agency, because in theory, is a decent bit of like design work is kind of location independent, correct? Or do you want to have like the Toronto office, the Vancouver, and
In the future, I think I'd
Yeah.
like to see more offices. Just
Okay,
something
yeah.
I envision.
yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
It is independent, but again, like we talked about earlier, I think working in person is a lot better. If we sit down with our clients
Yeah.
that are in
Very true.
Toronto in person, we can relate and brainstorm ideas much easier than
And-
over a Zoom
Oh,
call.
big time.
Yeah,
right?
totally,
Yeah.
Just seeing how they emotionally react to designs or what
Mhm,
what they're bringing to the table. In
And
person
even
is
the
more
relationship building aspect of it too, right?
Definitely.
So, yeah. Because the make money online blogosphere space doesn't like that, but there is something to the in-person. That a lot of that stuff sounds good on paper, if you will, but then in practice doesn't work. I guess is the separate question,
Yeah,
right?
humans
So,
want to feel connection with
Yeah.
each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
It's because we don't have physical office space with our brokerage right now. And it's something that I've been very much mulling over is getting that physical office space to bring people in so that they can have that meeting in
That kind of
person.
connection. to the
Physical,
office.
Yeah.
personal
and I think
connection.
that's,
They
yeah.
can feed off each other,
Yeah.
motivate each other,
Yeah.
learn
That
from
too.
other
That
learn
too.
from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, collaborate and
Yeah.
share ideas. and all
Collaborate
that.
is the
Yeah,
word.
big
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Well, I think that's about place to call it an episode.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome,
Eric,
yeah.
thank you so
Thanks
much
so
for coming
much.
on. We
Eric,
really
yeah.
appreciate
Yeah,
you
yeah.
stopping
Okay.
by.
Good
This was
times.
awesome. It's a good time. And
Thanks, guys.
ho ho ho, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to all you folks at home. So, yeah. All right, and same time next year, perhaps.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.